What a knock. What a time to hit an ODI 50 after 2 years in the wilderness. But Nadine de Klerk, take a bow. 84 of 54 balls, 8 fours, 5 sixes, calculated hitting. And because of that, combined with Laura Woolworth's 70, South Africa, who were bundled out for 69 in their first game against England, have now not only beaten New Zealand, but have ensured that India have suffered their first ever defeat in Vizag. And this has thrown the entire race for the semifinals wide open.
Absolutely, because I think what we were expecting was that if India won this match, then that would mean 3 wins in 3 games. They would have actually gone top of the table and put themselves in a bit of a gap with Australia, because Australia have 5 points because there was no result. Then, in a worst case, you could have still understood losing to Australia even in a close game, because whilst it would have hit your confidence, wouldn't have hit your points thing that much. It would have just been a 1 point gap. Now it's Australia on top with a 1 point gap, and if they are to win on Sunday, then it's a 3 point gap. And then suddenly Australia once again end up looking like the overwhelming favourites. But I think the one thing which we really have to talk about is the bowling performance, particularly in the second half of the match, because I feel like the intensity, and so that you can agree with me or disagree with me here, and you go first on this, I feel like the intensity kind of dropped off after they got those initial wickets.
See, Sinola Jafta, when you got rid of her, it was 81 for 5 in 20 overs. Okay?
Correct.
Now, we know that the South African batting lineup is pretty deep until Nadine de Klerk, who bats at number 8. Okay, Kaka's at 9, Tumi Sekukune is at number 10, and Mlaba is at number 11. Okay, so India were up for the challenge. The intensity lasted until Laura Woolworth, that Yorker that Kranti Gaud bowled. Okay, that was pretty evident that yes, the intensity was there. But I think somewhere that partnership between Tryon and de Klerk, which got them the partnership of say 69 runs. How ironic. A 69 which was humiliation in the first now comes back to rescue South Africa.
Correct.
But I think even then, okay, they had hit 69 runs in 10 overs. So they're maintaining a pretty good. I think India kind of floundered under the pressure. Look, one catch was also dropped. Okay, in that entire thing. But I think they were undone by the calculated hitting of Nadine de Klerk. Look at it. 41. You needed 41 of 26. It was almost game over from that kind of a situation. But then, what a day, what a time for Kranti Gaud to have one of the worst overs that she could bowl. Because 41 of 24, she gets hit for 2 sixes and a 4. Richa Ghosh, yes, undone by that hamstring cramp that she had. It took 7 minutes.
I can't be the only one who's thinking of Rishabh Pant, right?
Yes, everybody's thoughts went. But then, the South Africa women's team was built slightly differently. And when de Klerk hit the remaining 10 runs, 11 runs of Deepti Sharma's over, 2 sixes. 2 sixes of Amanjot Kaur. Because what that had done is, with Kranti Gaud conceding 18 runs and Deepti also not conceding less than 6 runs, they had to go to Amanjot.
The pressure was on then.
2 sixes. It's easy, right? Cricket's a very easy game. So I think more than the intensity, I think they were undone by the sheer audacity of Nadine de Klerk's hitting.
I agree with you there. I agree. It's not just Nadine de Klerk. If you're looking at who it is that really impacted them, just scroll slightly higher. I want to see the full scorecard. See, it took them far too long to get rid of, in my opinion, Laura Woolworth.
Yeah.
That was strike 1. Strike 2 was when they finally got rid of Chloe Tryon. The match was still in the balance. Right. At that point, you thought that it had swung back in India's favour again because they didn't have much batting thereafter. Strike 3. You forgot about Nadine de Klerk.
Yeah.
And the problem really came there because at one point you had them at 81 for 5. From 81 to 5 to then, reach a point where they finished the match with 7 balls to spare. 7 balls to spare is not insignificant, considering at one point it looked like they were playing just to preserve their net run rate. Yes. I will actually hold the Indian bowlers a little bit more accountable and say that, listen, it's not just the bowling. I think it's a tactical failure because we were discussing it in the mid-innings, saying that, listen, this South Africa team bats deep. We know that if you have a Nadine de Klerk coming in at number 8, that means you're batting till there. When they were 5 down, when you got Sinola Jafta in that 20th over, at that point you needed to keep going, because early on, what was the thing we said? We said 252 is defendable if you get consistent wickets. Early on, they got them. See, they got rid of Tasman Brits in the 3rd over, Loose gone in the 6th over. After that, they got Cap in the 14th over, Bosch shortly thereafter 15th over, and then you had Jafta in the 20th over. Half the side done and dusted under 20 overs. You should not be losing the game from there. And I will blame tactics. In terms of, I don't think they went hard. I think they went into the relaxed mode, thinking, okay, from here on out, there isn't too much. But then that was your 2 mistakes, because you gave Wolvard the chance to recalibrate. That because of her recalibration, her rebuilding of the innings, along with Chloe Tryon, you then left enough there for Nadine de Klerk to do. Look, we were looking at this thing and we said, it's tough. But I mean, at one point, when even after Tryon was dismissed, the asking rate was 10. With the field up, it's not that tough an ask. It's really not that tough an ask. And India, by the way, even if it had gone to the last over, were faced with an even worse possibility, because you would have had to break a fielder in.
Correct.
You were behind the over rate, which in itself is shocking considering your team has 3 spinners. How are you behind the over rate?
No, and you know what else happened? The field was up. The lengths were horrible.
Correct.
Full either on the leg stump or either it
wide.
Yeah, it was not too wide also, because what happened is that, look at how the South African spinners bowled. You have pointed out a highlight, right? 3.9 economy rate in the 20 overs. But here, Sneh Rana, 10 overs, 2 for 47. Deepti Sharma, 10 overs for 54.
It's rare, by the way, for Deepti to be having such an off day.
Exactly. 30 overs for 138 runs by the 3 spinners. Okay. Sneh Rana kind of got things back with that wicket, but then unfortunately it was a good review that she got rid of Chloe Tryon.
But even she was going at an economy of 4.7, and you needed 4 overs from Harmanpreet.
Yeah. Because I think they didn't have enough faith in Amanjot.
Yeah, they didn't.
They didn't. So that's...
Which again is very funny, because then it again brings me back to that old point. You didn't have faith in the bowler who you chose to bring into the squad to replace your strike bowler. Then what are your tactics?
Catch 22. They wanted Amanjot's batting, but they were happy to sacrifice Renuka Singh Thakur.
Which again makes no sense.
Exactly. Renuka in the power play would have absolutely ensured that, okay, the contest was done. But then again, in hindsight, when you look at it now, it doesn't change the fact that for 3 consecutive World Cups, last World Cup also same margin, 3 wicket win. Here also 3 wicket win. And this is where I think the Indian management has had a serious wake-up call. The wake-up call is play your best bowling unit. But do you have the confidence?
You have to, because again, I'm sorry, at this point, if you're not going to have enough confidence to bowl Amanjot, and you're keeping her purely as a batting option, or someone to boost your batting options, then your pace bowling lineup also kind of looks this thing. Because look, we can praise the likes of a Kranti Kaur, but they're all inexperienced. Your most experienced pacer is on the bench.
Renuka Singh Thakur.
It doesn't make sense. And here's the thing with Renuka. She's someone who early on, regardless of conditions, gets the ball to dance. I agree that can be a little expensive in the death overs, but then don't keep her for the death overs. Try and bowl her more and often than not up front. Give her a 5-6 over spell to begin with. Yeah. Try and get through most of her other overs later on, or when you get the second new ball, when you know early on that's the best time to go for it. Beyond that, I mean, I don't understand the tactic. And again, see, if I always go back to it, tactically, if you then give away a match from 81 to 5 to then 252 for 7, it reflects that you kind of took your foot off the gas.
You did. And I think you are not that aggressive enough with your fields, and I think even your fielding also kind of let you down.
I mean, the fielding has been a bit of a problem. We were talking about it even before, that, there were dropped catches even in previous matches.
Because who dropped the catch which ensured that Nadine would go on? I think it was Harleen or Smriti.
I was Smriti, the diving catch.
That was Smriti. Smriti dropping that catch worst possible way to ensure that India would lose in their so-called fortress. Now it's no longer a fortress.
Well, the fortress has been breached.
It's been breached, and it's the 5th highest target in World Cup history.
Oh, dear.
And even in the top 3, South Africa chased on 275.
Yeah, and this is, by the way, South Africa's second highest chase in a World Cup. So that in itself tells you what a big victory
Then
this is
both
for them.
against India.
Yes.
Both have come against India. Then.
Correct.
The
correct.
one I think it was Hamilton, if I'm not mistaken. There they managed to win. But here, I mean, looking at the situation, they were in a far dire situation.
I mean, you were 81 for 5 here, 81 for 5 chasing 250. You think at that point game is done and dusted.
But for me, the turning point was the over bowled by Kranti Gowda. Who would have thought that a bowler who had, I think, about close to 4, just about 4 economy rate would go at 6.6, that 18 run over.
But that's the thing I keep saying. No, experience.
Yeah.
I know Kranti has probably been a better performer than Renuka in recent times, but can you afford to have that inexperienced pace lineup? You cannot. You absolutely cannot. The fact that you needed 4 overs from Harman demonstrates 2 things. 1, you didn't have enough faith in Amanjot. 2, obviously the pitch was assisting spinners just a little bit.
Plus the dew.
Yeah, that didn't help matters. But anyway, to sum up the game, I think this is one game that India did make a good fist out of, at least in the first innings. Come the second innings, though, I think this was a game where they took their foot off the gas. And now your Sena run has started the worst way possible.
See, today we started waxing lyrical about Richa Ghosh, the way how she revived the Indian innings with a brilliant 94. And towards the end, that was the way how she got going. She was absolutely targeting the bowlers, 11 fours, 4 sixes. She just tore apart the South African bowling in the later overs.
But Nadine de Klerk.
Nadine de Klerk.
155 strike rate, by the way, towards the end. Madness.
Comfortably the best, and fittingly she will be the player of the match. I mean,
I'm
there's
sure.
no 2 ways about it. Richa, on the other hand, you have to feel for her. What a knock she played. But there are now 3 major problems for India before we take the comments. Number 1, top order has to wake up.
100%.
If your top order continues like this, I'm sorry, you aren't winning the tournament, because and Australia will punish you.
Big time.
They will not let a Richa Ghosh prosper. Yes, they may occasionally leak runs, but then they will not have that. They had a wake-up call against Pakistan.
Exactly. They got their wake-up call. I hope this serves as the wake-up call for India.
But again, they have the burden of history. Lost 2-1 in the series. They haven't won a bilateral thing in Australia for 40 years of playing. Plus in the World Cups, how Australia step up.
I'm dreading that match right now, honestly.
And
really dreading that
Australia have stopped taking India very lightly ever since 2017. They won in 2022, but that was also a close game. 2 close games in 2022. You are having a prospect of a second close game in Vizag. So that's why I agree with Shane. They've gotten off to the worst possible start. Second, boost up your pace bowling. You can't afford Amanjot, the batter, to trump what is your main suit in Renuka Singh Thakur, the bowler. And 3, fielding. Boss, catches win matches. Adage proven time and time again that it does help you. If you drop a catch, India benefited from dropped catches against Sri Lanka. Today, South Africa benefited from a dropped catch. And that's why Harmanpreet looks very disconsolate, because in the first ball, remember, in that over that Amanjot bowled, she saved 4 runs. Otherwise, the match was in 2 balls before.
Exactly.
That was how it is. But what clean hitting, yaar, from Nadine de Klerk. I mean, those 6s.
Massive salute. I think that was fantastic knock under pressure. Those 3, Wolvart, Tryon, and de Klerk particularly. Crazy.
And that's why India have suffered their first loss, and South Africa, don't count them out of this World Cup. They are one of the contenders.
I think that 69 all-out is beginning to look more and more like an aberration.
That was their wake-up call.
Exactly. That was their wake-up call.
So only Australia and England have not yet suffered losses.
Very
But England also, later on as the tournament progresses, they'll face tougher opponents.
Obviously.
They had Bangladesh, they beat South Africa though.
Yeah, that was a very big win.
That was a very big win.
Net run rate boosting win. Anyhow, let's take a look
take
at
some comments at this stage, what our family members who are distraught. Some people were saying India will win by 120 runs. I want to know where they are.
At one point, it looked likely, okay? At one point, it really did likely. See, that's what a lot of people were saying. See, Sarath asked, don't we have any wrist spinners in the squad? No, actually, you do not. India...
You had Poonam Yadav.
Yeah, but I think...
But she faded away as quickly as... But although she was fantastic in that sense.
Dex says one of the best knocks in World Cup history. I mean, hard to disagree. One of the best, I don't know, but yes, match winning wise,
One of the best.
impact, I agree.
If you look at it, the match prior to this, would you discount Beth Mooney's knock of 107 against Pakistan?
That was crazy. I mean, the amount of pressure they were under, 69 for 7.
Alissa
Insane.
Healy's knock in the final in 2022, wherein I think he had 170 if I'm not mistaken. against
Correct.
England.
Scroll down.
So Sarath Chandra 120 runs indeed.
Sarath is self-trolling. Chalo, he's at least saving us the trouble of having to do it. Freaking Awesome says, poor bowling, so many full-length deliveries, full tosses down the legs and no variations. Absolutely.
With the field up, freaking awesome. How on earth could you have maintained the lengths? And that is the problem. Very poor bowling indeed. And random cultists. Why are we not addressing the elephant in the room? The top and middle order hasn't contributed last time.
But random cultists, we did address it, and you're right. The top order, we've been talking about it now the first 2 games that it needs to start. And today you've gotten the best instance. If you had even one player from the top order get a half century, I think you'd have been close to 300 types, and that might have been a match-winning.
Rewind the tape, my friend. We did mention about the top order.
The
3 points. What is going to happen?
And we mentioned it even in the pre-match and the mid-innings. Everywhere we've mentioned it. It's not really an elephant in the room. I mean, it's a blazing white elephant with red.
It is like those flashes, those dark red flashes of caution that, boss, this is a serious concern. And that stubbornness of not changing fields on square drive and cover drive area is always open. That's what
Sarath is also mentioning. Yeah, that is correct. It's absolutely correct. Let's see. Sachin Kashyap says, inexperienced bowling in the death overs. Come on. You can't expect Amanjot and Kranti to handle that pressure in a World Cup. Absolutely.
You need... But then who has been your best death overs bowler? That's what I want to know about the Indian team.
Deepthi. In some matches.
In some matches it's been Deepthi. That's your problem. Yeah. So that is why so close yet so far.
Vikash, very clever.
Very clever indeed. And ऐसे से हारे Australia का क्या होगा Mohit? I think you'll have to be very, very worried.
And I think King D is speaking for all of us when he says, how can someone lose a match from this situation?
They just did, King D.
I agree.
Then also we all scored only 250. That is the problem. And India is playing batting heavy team. 6th bowling option hai hi nahi. I mean, who is the 6th bowling option?
Harman. You had to really, and that also is like a bit of a Hail Mary because Harman, you'd remember over years, has had injury issues, which is why she's pretty much just stopped bowling.
Which is why I say, if you want to enhance your bowling, today your left arm spinners did the majority of the damage. Chloe Tryon and Mlaba. And here the most economical amongst all of them was Sri Charani. So you had to get in a Radha Yadav. And
Correct.
that's the thing. You were saying Harleen can bowl leg spin, but it is like saying that Shane Warne can be the greatest opening batter ever.
Yeah. Or it's like saying that, Rinku Singh can bowl off spin.
Exactly. Surya Kumar Yadav can bowl off spin in that sense. So, that's the thing. We played so well, our team deserves appreciation, but
I agree, Vikash, but I think you threw away the match in the second innings. From 71 for 5, you should not be losing a match.
But Vikas Jaiswal, one major thing, if you expect a team to win, you can't have that, we won hearts, we gave a fight. No.
I don't care about winning hearts. I'm not an RCB fan.
Although they have won the title though. So,
finally.
In that sense. So, Sarath Chandra, guys, until we see inspiring performance and wins versus big teams and matches, we should keep low hopes. I don't have trust. They already broke me in 2017.
Oh man, 2017, do not remind me.
Veda Krishnamurthy
I went down for a dinner break and came back to see us losing the match.
Yes.
That was a bad time.
I mean, I couldn't believe Veda Krishnamurthy would play that kind of a shot, which got us Anya Shrubsole 6 for 46. 9-run loss. You haven't come close since then. I mean, you did come close in the World Cup of 2023, where Harman's bat got stuck.
Oh, don't remind me of that.
In Commonwealth, where Harman 41 or 26, but he lost by 5 runs. Oh, goodness.
And again to Australia.
Australia. So, India now will have a 2-day break before they face up to the mighty, mighty Southern Stars. They could win that game, India, and keep the group wide open. But then this is a missed opportunity and one that will only... They have to wake up now for the remainder. Because as I said, Sena stretch 1-0 with 1 S in South Africa they have lost. So, Thank you so much, folks, for joining us for this update. Congratulations to South Africa. Nadine de Klerk, take a bow. Commiserations to Harmanpreet. 3rd straight win for South Africa versus India in World Cup. So, Bye-bye. See you soon. Tomorrow, the test match, India versus West Indies. We'll be doing a post-match, by the way. We'll be joining you for the day's end as and when it happens. And a special interview coming up of an Olympic legend. Hopefully tomorrow, I bring it to you. So, bye-bye from me and Shane. Goodbye, Nandri, Vanakkam, Shubhratri, Shabba Khair. Eat your vegetables.
Don't trouble your mother.
Subscribe to Sports Today.
Bye.